Ahoy, Internet. This is Editception once again. This is Editing Guy talking from the past into your future. What you're about to hear is an episode we recorded a year ago with Prantik, who is the head bartender at O Pedro. We get into a lot of things regarding how the coronavirus has affected the service industry. But of course, it was in the fledgling time of the pandemic. So we thought we'd release this episode now to serve as a contrast of how things were when they started. And Pranav and I think that this episode serves as an interesting time capsule. Hope you think the same. Subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Instagram, wherever you get your podcasts, YouTube. Enjoy the rest of the show.
You mind? Okay, so thosedyslexiguys fans, we have an interesting person today. We have the one of India's top bartenders, the head bartender of O Pedro, Prantik. Do you want to just introduce yourself to our audience? A few lines about who you are.
Yeah, sure. Hey guys, this is Prantik here. I work at O Pedro, which is a Goan and Portuguese inspired restaurant bar in Mumbai. So we have been rated one of the best bars and the restaurants in the past 2 years, 2.5 years of our opening, and I'm really glad to be a part of the team. Over to you, Pranav.
Okay, so what we want to know from your point of view, because of your field, how has this corona affected you guys, you specifically, your industry? Because with social distancing and how things are right now, there's nothing happening, and how things will progress may tell us how, the world will be. Because I was seeing an article a while back on Zomato that they're going to start this new social contactless dining where you just order the food and sit in a restaurant and eat. And I'd like to know your insights about this. So we'll start off with the first few questions. How has the lockdown directly affected you?
Directly, first of all, obviously, we all have lost our right to work at our respective restaurants and places because you can't have a bar without guests stepping in. I mean, India is not a place where liquor delivery has been allowed yet, and I don't see that happening in the near future because of a lot of stigma still surrounding liquor consumption in India. I mean,
That's true.
India is, by all brand reports throughout the world, or different brand like liquor companies, they say India is one of the fastest and the biggest growing markets for liquor, beer, spirits, anything in the world. Yeah, it
Wow.
is because
Uh-huh.
the liquor consumption is really high, but still the stigma is there because people love drinking, but a lot of people don't
Yeah,
want their parents to know that they drink, or the parents
of
don't want their
course.
families to know that they're drinking. So I'll give you an example. If in my house there are four people, all four of us drink, but
Hmm.
probably never drink together. Yeah,
Really?
that's a
Okay.
probability in a lot of Indian
Yeah,
households.
I agree.
Yeah, I would agree that. I think that I'm in a
Mm,
similar situation. I wouldn't even know how to broach the topic of having a drink with my dad. It would be insane. Yeah.
I understand
Yeah.
because if I had to look, I think it's a cultural thing, and also
Yeah.
there's a huge area for abuse, right? And that's the fear more than anything,
No,
that if you
no.
have
I
a drink,
mean,
you're an
yeah, and
alcoholic.
I think that's a mentality that's out of a certain amount of conservatism kind of thing, right? And of course,
Yes.
like the data doesn't lie. The young people want to get drunk.
Yeah.
The young
Yeah.
people want to drink, the old people want to
Yeah.
drink.
Everyone wants to drink.
The moms
Exactly.
are
And
coming
that's
out. They're like, okay, we want to try new stuff. We want to be as cool as our kids. We want to go out to
yeah.
kitty parties and enjoy
Wow.
like nice drinks, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's there. So obviously, we have not been able to start a liquor delivery, and the bars are not going to be operating. Liquor is not available till whenever the lockdown is scheduled. Third May
Mhm.
seems to be a ray of light, but I'm sure that's going to extend because I don't think this pandemic is winding up anytime soon, and I think it's for
No,
a
no.
good reason that the lockdown is in effect. At least till
Yeah.
most of us respect the restrictions and adhere to it, I think we can get out of this pretty much safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So continuing on the same topic, how, because this is social distancing, right? We can't be in contact with everyone. How are your wait staff or other members surviving this and after lockdown? What do you think is going to happen afterwards? How do you think restaurants will carry on from this?
So as of now, I can give you a little bit of data that a lot of restaurants which
Sure.
were not doing takeaway and delivery, they have also started doing that.
Hmm.
I mean, not every kind of
Okay.
restaurant format can survive on delivery and takeaway because their food is not suited to it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
there is a restaurant called Mask in Mumbai. They do
Hmm.
small tasting menus, and every meal is specially curated by the chef, and they decide, and small portions. The focus is a lot on one kind of flavor and the ingredients and everything. But for the restaurant to survive, since that kind of food cannot be really given out in a takeaway or a delivery format, they have
Yeah. Yeah.
created a special separate takeaway and delivery menu. So a lot of
Oh,
restaurants now are
clever.
still trying to survive on the hope that at least our operating cost can get covered up with delivery. I mean,
Right.
it's not going to get covered up, but still at
That's
least
quite
like some
hopeful.
trickle of money is better
Yeah.
than nothing.
Some buffer. So what do you think about the future after this lockdown gets? So obviously, most restaurants, as far as I know, most restaurants run on renting the building. Landlords can't expect money right from the get-go, and you can't expect patrons to run in the second the lockdown
Yeah,
lifted.
definitely.
What do you think going forward? Because I was listening to this, I was checking up in many restaurants in LA had shut down, and someone had suggested to give disposable menus.
Yeah, so
Uh,
what is happening in the States is because they have a very weird and decentralized system, and every state gets to make their own
mhm,
choice. They have given their states to decide who can deliver liquor and who can do takeaways and all that.
Oh
So
wow.
I think the
mhm.
liquor deliveries, the cocktail deliveries, etc., is going pretty strong now in the States. But as I
Sure.
mentioned before, it can't happen in India. And I think going
Yeah, yeah.
forward after the lockdown, I think a lot of people are going to be skeptical about stepping into public places for at least a good
Yeah,
month or
yeah.
so. Because
Yeah.
just my sister was telling me yesterday that her anniversary is
Mhm.
coming up a week after the lockdown lifts. But then they're like, we are not going out anywhere. We're gonna sit at home. We're gonna take leave from even if our work calls us, we're gonna sit at home and take a work from home because we are not gonna take the risk.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah,
most people
yeah,
are
and
sane enough to think like that.
Yes.
And yeah, so going forward, I think it's going to be really difficult for us as an industry to survive. And considering in
okay.
India, we haven't gotten any relief from the government for the hotel and the restaurant industry. Like a lot of countries in the world have given, like
Yeah.
China, Singapore, Malaysia, and even the States, UK. Everyone is trying to give out some kind of subsidy package to workers because in India we don't have any wage system, right? So it's a
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
very scattered kind of a industry, but
Yeah.
there are different
Mhm.
organizations like the Indian Bartenders Guild, and all these different liquor companies. Plus,
Okay.
uh, there is a Flair Association of India. So all of these different companies are trying to crowdfund a lot of money for bartenders, like for bartenders insurance, just in case anyone is affected with the COVID virus, or they
Right.
want help. They want help with
Wow, that's
treatment,
incredible.
or anyone who is out of job and really needs money. So they're trying to gauge the like different companies, different liquor reps, different influencers. They keep contacting a lot of bartenders, a lot of bar owners on a regular basis. We have an open dialogue where they ask us, okay, so honestly, we are not going to disclose this data to anyone, but tell us how much is your
Hmm.
salary generally, and how much is your company able to pay you right now? Are you getting any salary
Right.
at all? Does your company have any
Mhm,
health
mhm.
insurance dedicated for you? And
Great.
how has your management called you up recently? All that. So basically one-on-one questioning so that they can help understand better how to go about
Yeah,
providing us
yeah.
support. So yeah,
Yeah.
the industry as a whole,
Because if
even
you
though
are
it's
industry,
scattered, everyone
huh?
is pretty. How do I put it? Yeah,
That's
everyone is
incredible.
helping each other.
It's awesome.
That's really incredible. I really didn't expect that going into this conversation because I understand. It makes absolute sense. In one industry, if you can't go to restaurants and bars, obviously liquor companies are going to start having
Yeah.
trouble.
Yeah.
So you need to support everybody right now, and it's
I
it's better to
mean,
support current employees and getting new employees later on. It's better.
I think
It shows loyalty more than
I
anything.
think
Yes,
I
Kai?
think one of the one of the first like I met a friend who was at that time he was kind of working his way up to being like a DJ, and now he's quite a good electronic performer there. I'm sorry, I just put my phone on silent. My bad. So the thing is, like what he said was the job of the DJ was to sell liquor. Like that's the job. So it's
Wow.
you're right. Like it's not like I was expecting something very artistic from him, but I that answer has stuck with me, and it's a very practical answer. But yeah, it works. Yeah.
Okay.
That.
Yeah, he gets people in to buy alcohol, and then
but
that goes
like,
everywhere.
Yeah, but he phrased it as his job in the given club was to sell liquor at the time. So yeah, you kind of underscores to your point like how much this kind of the restaurant sales model is important for liquor, especially.
That is true.
And not just for liquor, for the country as well,
yeah.
because we're in an interesting place where we're moving from. I would still say we still are moving from a agrarian society to first tier, second tier, third tier industries, right?
Okay.
Where agrarian industries to service industry, and service industries have been coming up heavily in India.
We are the developing world. I hate that moniker. Fuck.
I mean, it's better than third world country. It really is better developing at least.
Yeah. No, but at least third world country, we're being honest with ourselves, right? Like that's where we are. Like developing is at infinitum thing. Every country is a developing country.
That's true. That's very true.
I get your point. So it's interesting to see how support industry is, and everything is affected by this. What about? I'm curious because top staff have obviously experience to move even if they don't have many options. What about wait staffs? And because I was listening to after Anthony Bourdain passed away, I think he was making a point that before he passed away, he was making a point that you need immigrants in countries to help wait staff. You need people who are going to do the drudgery. Otherwise, restaurants can't pay everyone top wages all the time, right? What about? Because in Pondicherry, I met a server who used to work in Bangalore, and he just came to Pondicherry literally a week before the lockdown started because his friend said it's a good paying job here, let's come here. And he just uprooted life, and it's pretty gnarly to think what are they going to do, man? Because this is not going to go away for the next 6 months, at least a stigma.
6 months is an understatement. I think the effects are gonna last till at least the next year this time. Yeah, the effects are going to last because first of all, the sales are not going to pick up so much because a lot of people, like throughout the world, a lot of people have lost a lot of money now. So a lot of people won't have the money to spend. Like they won't want to go out and spend. And when people think about people who go to restaurants and bars, they are thinking of the individual, like you, like me. But the majority of the people who spend at restaurants and bars are corporates. For their corporate events, for their parties, for their shareholder meetings, for entertaining clients, for new acquisitions and everything. And even ours, because ours is located in the business district in Bandra Kurla complex, most of our clients are like investment bankers and different other banks and corporates in general.
Right.
So they are going to really, really, really cut down on their budget because the stock market is one of the worst the world has ever seen right now. And it's going to take a while to bounce back. And till people have their money back, the restaurant industry is not going to have their money back.
It's a very scary place to be in. I mean, if you think about a trifecta, what's going on? You got a virus, you got a recession, you got countries losing money, and you got an election coming up.
Oh man, let's not even go there. And okay, so as you mentioned about immigrant workers, right? So I'll say in terms of Bombay, right now my restaurant, we started delivery with delivery today. Yeah, today. So we started with delivery. We got our passes and all sorted out like last week because.
Yeah, because I saw the ad on your website.
So for today, so for this whole delivery situation, they have given out only 10 passes. The government,
Wait, in the entire city of Bangalore?
No,
city of
Mumbai. Like in the restaurant, they have given out just 10 passes. So that includes the people who will be making the food, the people who will be packaging the food, the people who will be handling the calls.
Wow. So it's
That's nothing.
Yeah. So
it's like a small boutique at this point, like a small cart. What the hell?
Skeleton crew.
It's literally a skeleton crew. And operating a kitchen, you need 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 5 stations plus a chef who's running the pass. So at least 6 cooks you need in the kitchen.
Right.
Plus there would be one person in the pot wash to help you with the dishes. There will be one person to handle the calls. There needs to be one person who is packaging the food. So 10% is just the bare minimum. You're just like cutting it close.
Really? You guys are managing with
Have
10
to,
people is
like, there's no,
incredible.
and the restaurant general manager and the CEO, they are in the restaurant right now because
Amazing,
they live
amazing.
close by, and also
Yeah.
they have been one of the few people who've been able to get the passes. And a
Correct.
lot of people, a
Yeah,
lot of
man,
employees, they don't stay in the city of Bombay. Like, a lot of them are Maharashtrians, but a lot of them don't stay in the city of Bombay. As soon as people heard that, okay, we might have to, we're not staying here, a lot of people went back to their native towns because it makes sense. I mean, away from
Yeah, it
urban
does.
areas, the spread of the disease is pretty low.
Correct.
So a lot of
Yeah.
people have went back to their hometowns. Like, even me, I didn't go back to my hometown, but still I came to stay with my family somewhere else. So a lot of people have gone back. There are barely any people who work in the restaurant who are living in the city and in the vicinity. So the wait staff, I think they don't have a lot of options rather than sticking to the company because thankfully my company is one of the companies which have not let go of people as such, and they are not like not giving us salaries. They are giving us salaries, but only what they can afford. So, like, with a slight
Understood.
percentage cut,
Okay. Of
the
course.
higher management has taken pay cuts. The CEO and the CEO have taken 100% pay cuts for the next 6 months. Yeah.
Wow.
That's awesome. That's good.
Dude, that's really awesome. That's why I really like the bond you guys have. Every time I talk to you guys about it, I can see it a mile away that you guys are in it thick or thin. And so the next question I want to know is, considering, okay, let's assume the lockdown gets over. I want to know how will this affect the entire dining experience? Sure, you can have contactless dining. At that point, I might as well go to Suksagar or McDonald's to have food. Let's say, even if people, let's put aside the topic where the people want to go out and not and eat, because people are being very skeptical of food right now. Everybody is a chef at home
That's
now.
true.
So, I mean, I'm not going to say good or bad. That's a different topic. Just for
Ouch!
whoever's eating to
Ouch,
enjoy.
Pranav! I can see the jabs.
Hey, I can't
can
cook.
see
I
the
can't.
jabs.
I can't cook from a mile
Jesus
away.
Christ.
So I mean, I can cook to survive.
I was just trying to
I
make
recently-
ricotta. Just leave me alone. I was just trying to
I only
curdle
recently
milk
found-
in peace. Just don't worry.
It's
about
okay. I tried making roti yesterday and I ended up making something horrendous. It's fine.
it.
That's not your section. It's okay. You can immediately say, "Listen, Didi, this is not my section. You give me alcohol, I'll do magic. This is literally not my section." So I recently found out that if you make the difference between bread omelette and French toast with milk, and I was like, "What?"
Oh, it's the
I had no
slight
idea that the-
sweetness of the milk, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like the.
Yeah, but I didn't
Salty.
like. I was like, "What?" I mean, I didn't even realize that because I don't like adding milk to my omelets or my French toast because it makes it very soggy. And then, well, okay. Anyways, I'm this tangent. How do you think restaurants will adapt after all this get over? Like, how will you enjoy the dining experience? Like you were saying, your sister wants to go for her anniversary. Point is to enjoy it in an amazing space where
Yeah, see, I
dining
don't
service is
think
part of the
contactless
experience.
dining is going to be a thing because some
Especially with
places
Zomato's
I
pushing
read
it.
about in the States, they tried doing it initially before the spread was too much and before they realized that this
Okay.
is such a disaster. They tried doing contactless dining where some restaurants, I remember seeing their Instagram posts, their places that put tables 1 feet or something apart. So say one restaurant in their entire restaurant space, they have 20 tables generally. Because of the new
Okay.
spacing rules and because of how they set up the layout, they had like 5 or 6 tables.
Okay.
So people
Oh,
have
okay,
tried
okay.
doing that, but it's not, it's doesn't make sense. Like, you end up spending a lot of money keeping the lights in your restaurant on. Just keeping the lights in your restaurant on costs you a huge amount of money.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I mean, it doesn't make sense to incur that amount of losses. And there are a couple of bars who've tried doing liquor delivery, who've tried doing everything, but just doesn't work out. The bars in the
So what do you think is the next step forward?
the next step.
What do you think is eventual?
Forward.
Wait it out. Because if you're running it at a massive loss and you're running it for the sake of running it, it doesn't make sense. If you're shutting it down, you're like, what could be the solution here? Because as a bartender, when you think of the typical bartender as a guy who is not serving the drinks but creating experience with each patron that
That's
comes
true.
by.
That
you
is
want to
that is
just
the
look and
reason
talk
why
to them, say
contactless
hi and
dining
feel so good. How
cannot
the hell
happen,
is
because right now in
Yeah.
the whole world space, it is restaurants and bars together. There are very few places in India where you have just a bar, where people go to actually just enjoy drinks. Like, even in Bangalore, that I've seen, like, where the pub scene is so huge, people will go to a
Yeah.
big brewski or maybe Brooks and Bonds, and probably even before they order a flight of beer, they will end up ordering, like, get us fries or get us pizza. Like, they want food to go
Yeah.
along with
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I don't think it's going to work out where people are not going to be able to enjoy getting a service from their staff. Like people go out to obviously enjoy each other's company, but they also go out to enjoy the experience of a restaurant or a pub or a bar or anything. So
Yeah.
contactless dining is, I don't know.
Disposable menus, none of that. It doesn't seem like it'll have
Yeah,
any merit.
it doesn't seem to have any merit in my opinion. But then again, I'm no restaurant expert. But it's just the kind of restaurant I
Yeah.
work in, because for us the experience is the paramount.
Exactly. McDonald's can work in this environment perfectly, but who goes on the first date to McDonald's? Who goes on their anniversary to McDonald's? I mean, it's possible.
It's
I'm not saying
possible.
people
It's
shouldn't do
just
that.
not
It's just
something
like,
that
yeah,
most
sure.
people will think of first.
Yeah, and if your significant other's happy, I think you've met the perfect person. Good, congrats, man. Or
Wow,
woman, or whatever.
Pranav, Jesus.
True.
It's
true
okay. It's okay. Yeah. McDonald's, we love you, by the way. The Golden Arches can sponsor us. Yes. Old Monk, no. McDonald's, yes. Yes. Go on.
I mean, they both have M's, they both have O's, they both are
No,
old
they're not.
McDonald's.
I don't think those two brands ought to be related to each other.
I mean, if you end up having an old monk party, you want some cheap burgers, and where do you
Yeah,
go to?
exactly. No, what you do is,
Look at this guy quietly putting in the agenda. Like, yeah, look, we'll arrange it. Okay,
you and
sponsor,
your
okay,
date
corporate
get,
overlords.
You and your date get drunk on Old Monk at a contactless dining place and then go to McDonald's. That's the saddest date. And
McDonald's actually
I
does provide
guarantee-
contactless delivery options. My friend works in McDonald's. I
Dude,
know.
like they have a freaking screen. Okay. There's like a screen in McDonald's, and somewhere you can just click and order your food a mile away from
That's
the
awesome.
counter and just go pick it up and leave.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know this.
No, but you have to.
Oh wait, you didn't know
But
this?
the date has to involve the fluorescent lights, otherwise it's not going to be terrible. Pranav. It's not.
No, there is so. I mean, in few McDonald's in Bangalore, I don't know you weren't aware of this. So
Yeah.
they have a screen outside. You can just
Oh.
tap on a digital
Oh,
screen,
yeah,
take
the
what you
drive-thru
want,
thing.
pay by
Yeah,
card,
yeah,
and
yeah.
but it's
Oh,
a
the
walkthrough. It's
drive-thru,
no
okay.
longer. I don't think there are many
Yeah.
drive-thrus. Yeah, drive-thru, but with legs.
Okay, you have to walk. Okay, fine. You can walk it.
Yeah, and then you go pick it up and sit down and eat.
Oh, you sit down and eat it.
Yeah.
Huh, wait.
Yeah, it's there only. Either you can take a takeaway or you can get the food and sit and eat. So you can either go to the cashier and ask them, or you can just pay with the system and enter and eat. I mean, now they have charging points in McDonald's. It's quite
Now
nice.
think of that, except
It's like a Starbucks
yeah,
now.
but now think of that except at like
Everywhere.
like Black Rabbit. Yeah, exactly. It'd be amazing.
Yeah, or Grasshopper,
Yeah.
like you're saying, Big Blue Ski. Like these aren't. You're absolutely right. I don't know how corporates will function. It seems like one system goes down, everyone
Yeah,
goes with it.
it's a domino effect. Everything is gonna go down. But then obviously we will get back up together, because since as I told you, the whole industry as a whole, they are coming together to help each other out, and a lot of people at this time, they're taking their huge free time to like engross themselves in trainings, getting their knowledge better. They're getting to know their like surroundings. They're getting to know their customers. A lot of young bartenders are
Really?
engaging in the training programs that a lot of companies are holding, which is, it's a good place to be right now. If you're stuck at home and if you have a decent enough internet connection, you can just grow your knowledge like anything, which thankfully a lot of people are doing, because since we are in contact with them every day, we know that
Yeah.
they are increasing their knowledge every day, which is a good thing. So
It's awesome.
So the second is wave.
I'm sorry, what?
You were saying something. I interrupted you. my
No,
bad.
I'm done. Go ahead.
So a second is wave gets over, you'll have a different standard of service altogether, which will be incredible for restaurants.
Hopefully, yes. But again, that comes on the expense that a lot of people will have this gap month that they don't know what to do with. A lot of people, they will go back, and I know for once that I have dreams that I'm walking into my restaurant, I'm like, okay, wait, how to do this? What do I do with this? What is happening? Okay, there might
Wow.
be pests here. So, because restaurants as a whole, they obviously deal in food. And any place
Yes,
that deals
yes.
in food is bound to have some kind of pests.
Yeah,
Especially
Okay.
during this whole month when people have not been able to go to their restaurants and see what the situation is, I'm sure the pests must have multiplied like anything. So,
Dude, holy shit, that's a different disease coming in, because you're right, I didn't even think
yeah,
of that
so
point
just
of view. That's
imagine
ridiculous.
you leave your house for a while, and then when you come back, you have to obviously put like that Lakshman Rekha and I don't know what sprays and everything to get rid of the cockroaches and the ants and
Big
the rats
on.
and everything.
Hit.
Now just imagine restaurants who deal
Holy
in
shit,
tons and tons of food every day. I mean, I think the first step is going to
Holy
be
shit.
going there, making sure that all the pests are gone, disinfecting the place again, cleaning up everything, and then thinking of starting to work. That is going to be the first step for everyone.
Man, talk about being stuck between a hard place and a rock. Like, you have on one side people scared of COVID spreading in restaurants, and on the other side you got restaurants, you're a cesspool.
Yeah.
Holy
So
dude, that's like, I didn't even think of that point. That's because I was thinking when I was making the questions, what are the things I want to know? I didn't even think of that point. That's ridiculous.
it's just tons of things you have to deal with once you work in the industry. So we are thankful that at least the Indian government has put out a regulation that, not a regulation, it's an advisory for all the landlords and owners to stop the lease payments and rent payments for the next 3 months.
Really?
Yeah, they're saying just put it on hold or
That's
stagger it
amazing.
out. The government has said it should do it. A lot of countries throughout the world, they have made it mandatory for the landlords to forego rent payments for the next 3 months.
Crazy.
And in Maharashtra, they have also put out, the government of Maharashtra has put out a regulatory that all the landlords of all the businesses like restaurants like ours, and even the houses, people like me who stay on rent, they said that your owners, if you are not paying them rent for the next 3 months, you can postpone your rent payment, and it's completely fine. They cannot object you on that, and also they cannot evict you.
Oh, that's
So they've
pretty
put out
amazing.
this safety regulation for everyone. So I think that is helping us out, because I think a major chunk of the restaurant's operating cost is the rent, because in a city like Bombay, and I mean in any
it is.
metropolitan city, the rents are huge.
Yes.
So
All this talk about Maharashtra, I know Kai is really happy because he's from Bombay.
Oh, I was born in Bombay. I don't have no connection to
Oh,
Maharashtra.
come on.
I mean,
Like, all this, you're like,
I know
yeah.
I know rent is astronomical. I know Kurla is pretty central, and yeah, it's pretty nice. I've literally only been to like candies. I've not even
Candies.
literally explored. Yeah, literally, I have not been to any place.
I don't even know what candies are, man.
You know, it's a place.
Candies
in
is a place.
Bangalore.
Candies is like what is that place on St. Mark's Street,
Truffles?
man? Not Truffles, dude.
Truffles?
That old restaurant in St. Mark's Street, man. That's owned
Like
by
a
Mallu
airline,
guy.
like airlines.
Airlines.
No, not Airlines, man. The one near Airlines. You go to the main road, take a left. There's a place that sells. There's a huge line there always.
What's the cuisine? What is the cuisine? We'll narrow this down in like
Oh,
30
God.
seconds. You
There's
just tell.
cutlets, there's samosas, there's omelets, there's French toast, English breakfast.
Yeah, you lost. Only place.
No, not
Only
the only
place?
place. That's for steaks, man.
Yeah, but you also get like.
No, I'm not talking about only place.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm not gonna
talking
cut
about
you.
the
I'm
other-
gonna get hit. I'm gonna get hit very hard out this.
Okay, anyways, yeah.
Yeah, anyway, so it's like
yeah.
one of those old breakfast places where you
Fine,
get
fine.
Yeah.
good English breakfast, you get sausages, you get good bacon, you get good burgers, and all that. It's run by like a group of Goan people or East Indian people. It's like they're like the demographic of that Bandra area.
I mean, see this. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. So
Okay, wait. Now that I need to get this out before I continue. What is that restaurant? I went there when I went to Mumbai last. It's in the middle of the city. I'm now going to try to figure out where it is.
Leopold.
Lions. Leopold, thank you.
Leopold, yeah, that place where the
That's the only place I went to.
place that got shot up in.
Yeah,
I didn't want to say that.
And
Thanks,
after
guys.
that, the prices also got shot up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, dude, it's expensive.
say
It was
that,
packed.
okay.
I went in at 11:30, 12:30. We're finishing. I just look around. It's packed.
So
Yeah.
the place was already good, and after 26/11, people went there to pay their tribute and their just to pay homage to the people who passed away, and they have not repaired the also one of their walls. It still has those bullet marks.
yeah.
So a lot of people go there to pay their tributes and everything, and obviously they end up eating there and they realize, okay, the place is really good. So again, their popularity increased, they increased the prices. It's a business after all. I mean, nobody can
Yeah,
blame
yeah,
them
of
for it.
Yeah.
You can't fault them for it.
Of course. Okay, so coming as we're talking about bartending in the food industry, do you think, as a bartender, because this is something I wanted to ask and I'm asking,
Oh, okay.
what do you think about robot bartenders?
so-
You think is that the future?
So yeah, there was a
Take over,
I
Kai.
had a particular So when I was thinking of that, I was because unlike so there is I don't know if you've seen it. There is a piddling attempt at a robot chef, which is basically a robot line cook at this point, right? Because the amount of dexterity required to like do all of that is insane, and which also carries over to bartending. Like there have been gimmicks of like robot bartenders which like both who look like androids, but the ones which I am thinking of as serious contenders would just be like a bunch of peristaltic pumps attached to a bunch of drinks and just dispensing them and trying to agitate them and mix them, right? So something like that. So how practical do you think something like that is?
I was dreading this question because I was having this discussion day before yesterday with my sister and my brother-in-law. So my sister is a data scientist. She used to work. She worked with automation when she was in college. And my brother-in-law, he's
brilliant!
Also,
she's trying to run you out of a job.
both of them, they're like, okay. So robots are pretty interesting. And then we started talking about robots, and I think this happened because we were watching some movie, and then we started talking about Blade Runner, and then like. We just went down that rabbit hole.
All your sky.
And then I was just thinking about robot bartending, and I again rechecked all the videos that I'd seen and everything. So, honestly, in my opinion, it's not a bad thing. It's obviously they will give.
Wow.
They will give us a run for our money, obviously. Like imagine engineers are making robots to deal with automation, which is eventually going to deal with a lot of engineers going out of jobs.
Yes,
exactly. A lot of people are making programs for automating things, and people are going out of jobs for that. That is the same with every industry. I mean, our industry is not going to change. But the point here is chefs and bartenders who are basically chefs with liquor, we have to taste our products. Robots can't do that shit.
I mean, you could have.
Yeah, he's gonna say it.
As you said, you could have a setup with different sets of peristaltic pumps, and they are taking exact measurements of liquor and exact measurements of herbs and everything.
But like a gas spectrometer would be expensive, right? To have the thing taste what it's making would be expensive. Yeah, you're right.
Or take feedback with all the data sets that they have and say, like, okay, if 8 people like this, if 8 people like Olmo with thumbs up, it must be a good combination, 1:5.
So I give you lemons. And I give you a mix of different. I make a mix of different acids, so it will taste the same to you, but the chemical composition is totally different. Yeah, I mean
some like again
exactly. I mean you can't put
with some data science and the spectrometer, we could like work backwards and say like, look,
but
lemon
in
is 20.
To put so much money into that.
I was actually about to say the spectrometer itself, you're broke.
Exactly. So you make a valid point. It's the taste part which is hard
like,
to figure out.
You could think about automating bartending while sitting at a bar talking to a bartender. That's not a bad thing to do.
There we go.
Actually automating bartending, the robot will not be having a conversation with you regarding that.
Or it'll be a very, very bland, monotone conversation.
I think. Can't make a.
Okay, I wanted to ask you this when we have a proper episode. I'm just going to ask it. This is something that has always bugged me. So, when you guys measure a peg, either a small or large, do you measure till the line or do you measure slightly below till the rim of the measure? Because I've always seen differences.
It varies according to the kind of peg measure you have. So, generally in India, in all the like excise departments, they issue this bell-shaped jigger, which is 30 and a 60. Okay. So in those types of jiggers, you fill it up to the brim where you see the meniscus of the liquor should be towards the upper end. Like it should be totally filled up to the brim. That's why what a lot of bartenders do is they pour directly on top of the glass or the mixing vessel. They pour it till almost the brim, and they pour just a little bit of liquor directly into the like the measuring jar or the glass, so that you exactly get 30. So the school of bartending that I follow, the school of service that I follow, I think that serving 5 ml extra is better than serving 5 ml less.
Amazing. I mean, this is why top bartender life kicks in here.
People are paying top dollar. That's my bad. People are paying top rupee for it.
Okay.
They might as well get their worth. Anyway, liquor is so expensive in India.
Yes.
So that's
because I've seen bartenders who do the opposite. Who I can literally see there's a little bit like a quarter of an inch there, and then they pour it, and I don't want to say anything at that point.
Yeah, see, even that has happened to me also, and obviously I don't enter a bar and let people know that, hey, I'm a bartender, don't pour less alcohol for me. But then obviously I go out with less respect for that establishment in general. I mean, I'm sure that bartender is not dishonest, but it's just that they haven't been trained properly.
Right.
It's-
It's incompetence,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
malice, right?
Yeah, it's
Do you think it's a one-off thing, or is it just, how would that
sadly
maybe
it's
that
not
day
a
they
one-off
have
thing.
been
It
told to reduce
happens
it?
across the
okay.
world. Yeah, it happens
Really?
across the world. It's just the kind of training you get. So I'm really happy that I got great mentors and I work in a company where people, we are expected to take care of our guests first and our profit line next.
Hmm.
Amazing.
So, obviously, when you think of serving a person, so obviously, the greatest advice that I'd read. So, this is not something I got on very early in my career. It's just something that I discovered last year. So, I keep reading interviews of different top bartenders across the world. So, one of the people, this magazine called Punch. It's a great magazine for anyone to follow. It's not just for bartenders. It's for anyone who's interested
Okay.
in the world of liquor. It's a magazine called Punch.
Punch.
So they keep doing this bartender in residence interviews. They keep so like the kind of session we are having. They have this session with different bartenders across the world, different continents.
Uh-huh.
So one of the bartenders he mentioned, he was asked a question: what is the biggest influential advice you've ever gotten in your career? And he said, the people who are coming into your bar have worked hard to spend that money in your establishment. You better respect that. That just that hit me really hard
Resonated.
because
your mind.
I realized that
Yeah.
all of us in the industry we work so hard to earn our money, but a lot of times during the service, during the heat of the service, or a lot of times we tend to take our guests for granted. We keep thinking that
Of course.
it's okay, man. This person has money, that's why he's coming and spending. Might as well rip him off or rip her off. But a lot of people have this, and I'm not saying I haven't had this initially in my career. Even I've had this. I'm like, okay, this is a high spending group. They'll end up spending their money. But
Of course.
now, when I think about that, okay, I see a high spending group. I think, okay, let's give them their money's worth. Let's make it an
Yeah.
experience that they'll remember. They'll spend a huge amount of money, but then they'll have experience to remember.
Yeah.
They'll come back next time. They'll say that, okay, I spent a lot of money, but I got my money's worth. So
It's a giant game that they're playing,
Yeah.
right? Because it's a social approval game of all these things. Because even if you're a corporate and you cannot spend the money, say you're a startup or whatever, you still have to do it to project the illusion,
Success.
the success. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So like you're saying, it's better to make that game not adversarial and like it's easier for all parties if you're like
exactly,
you
it's
give
easier
them-
if everyone
Yeah.
is on the same page. Everyone is
Yeah.
okay. So if one person is coming and they're letting you know in verbal terms or non-verbal terms that okay, listen, I have a lot of money. I want to spend it. I can spend it, and I want to impress these people. You understand that? You make them have a good time. Or they can be someone who comes in and listen. I don't have a lot of money. I still want to impress these people. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, trust me. I'll make it happen for you. So you need to
Yeah.
be equally
That's
balanced in
amazing.
both the respects. You can't be like, okay, this person is poor bugger. He can't spend. I'm not gonna bother with him. I'm gonna go to that group who looks swanky. They're drinking their belugas and their belveders, and this person is asking an old monk. Like, screw him. I'm not gonna bother with him. You have to balance both aspects out because you never
Of
know.
course.
Maybe that person who's drinking that high-end spirit, they're probably coming in today to your restaurant. They maybe have a lot of money. They'll go
Yeah.
somewhere else the next day. This person, maybe he really likes the restaurant, really likes the vibe. They'll come back for you again. So that's one of the first advice we try to give our bartenders is that make such kind of connections with people that people come back to you. Like they obviously come to your restaurant for the vibe, but they come back to you for the service you provided them last time.
Right.
So
Right.
that's the kind of training we give to a lot of our servers as well. Because we do have, so we follow the system of our comment cards and our guest comments very, very rigorously. And we monitor the progress and we monitor the scores that the guests give us each time. And a lot of guests actually mentioned that we've come back for this particular server because he or she served us last time. We've had a great time. That's why we come back for
Really?
them. Yeah. So,
Yeah, I never knew people actually take that seriously because one of the things that I found quite tedious is when you're leaving, they kind of push you to say to write that little, okay, when is your birthday, when is this, and nothing ever comes
that
from
is
it.
one that is one line which is difficult to follow because a lot of people have that online automation that they send you a mail that okay, please rate us 5 out of 5 stars or like they'll send you an email saying how was your experience. A lot of people don't bother replying to that.
Yeah.
But
Of course.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I have never replied to one of those.
Yeah, even I don't
been on the
reply.
having been a call center employee and been on the other side of those, I still don't reply to them, which shows you how like it doesn't matter. Like fuck them.
But yeah, so a lot of restaurants, not just ours, a lot of restaurants nowadays they've started taking this guest feedback seriously because people are very vocal about their reviews on Zomato. And
I'm glad that's shut. I'm so glad that's shut.
what should?
The Zomato reviews. You can't review now on Zomato. At least I can't. Maybe I got blocked.
Okay, I honestly haven't checked that in over a month because I.
Yeah, because I was doing it. I was trying to do it rigorously and on Google Maps just for the points and the social cred. And I realized you can't see the points anymore. So there's no more tire system because they had no way of. They just had wanted numbers. They had maybe they didn't.
Oh, you can't be the
They just
you can't be the mayor of whatever, wherever.
yeah, and now that system's gone. You can send reviews and
Yeah.
they do reply. Restaurants do reply. Though
Yeah.
you don't have the system where say, okay, you're a level 10.
Okay.
You're an expert in these areas.
Okay.
All that is gone.
That probably is gone. But then we still check our Zomato scores and Google business reviews every day because it obviously helps us grow as a business, and we obviously narrow it down whether someone actually has a valid point that we can work upon, or if somebody is just unhappy because their day was going bad. A lot of times happens.
And
You
on the flip side of-
come to a restaurant expecting something, you don't get it because maybe it wasn't advertised as per your understanding, or maybe you were in a different state of mind. So reading reviews helps us get to the bottom of that, to understand whether the person who came to the restaurant to dine was just plain. I'm not gonna say stupid, but maybe they were not having a good day, or maybe because
Yeah, like made a rash decision.
made a rash
Misunderstandings
decision to just
happen.
come into
Yeah,
a
we're all
restaurant
human.
and have food. I mean, I'm gonna tell about myself. I don't enjoy eating
Sure.
thick crust pizzas like
Okay.
Domino's, Pizza Hut.
Really?
I don't enjoy eating thick crust pizzas.
Really?
So
Yes.
You're one of those guys who created this thin crust trend, aren't you?
yeah, I like thin crust
Hey.
pizzas.
As long as the toppings are the same, I'm okay with the thin crust. Like
Okay,
honestly.
so I know we're
this
going
is
completely
the
off
concern
topic.
I got after I got my braces.
Mhm.
So I can't
Sure.
eat thick crust pizzas after they get cold, obviously, because it's a pain in the
Oh.
ass.
Oh yeah.
But
Okay.
yeah, after that I realized I really enjoy eating thick crust pizzas, and I have started disliking thick crust pizzas. So if a person takes me to a restaurant or a bar where they give pizzas but it's not thin crust, I will not enjoy eating it. But it's my problem
Obviously.
because it's my dietary
Yeah.
restriction or my liking, and I didn't
Yeah.
bother to check up on the place. Like today, you have tons of you could just open up Google and you can search for the restaurant, and they'll tell you what kind of pizza they serve. I mean, you can just
Absolutely,
do that.
absolutely.
It takes like 15 seconds, man. But it's my problem if
Yeah,
I haven't
yeah.
done it. It doesn't give me the right to
So my
go on
problem
to
with
a
that-
restaurant's page and write like, oh, I had a bad experience. The pizza was bullshit. Everything was bad. It doesn't give you right to do that. You can't give people 1 star because your day was going bad.
Yeah.
It matters a lot to us because
That's-
in Zomato and in any other places, the kind of the amount of stars you get, that gives your it's like any other rating system, right? A lot of people just check with the
Yeah.
rating 4.5 and above and all that. So you get like one bad review, one single star, it can overshadow at least 10 5-star reviews because everywhere
Yes,
the negative marking system is like it's geared towards that.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. So I have two things on that point, and we'll come back to the questions. So on the flip side, I've realized a lot of people don't realize. I realized this recently, though I didn't. I realized this consciously, not unconsciously, because I was listening to something and someone said you have to realize that everyone is agreeing completely with what you're saying. Everyone is working hard. Everyone is doing their best to pay their rent, at least that much. So when you go to a restaurant, try tipping. Tipping is a big deal. As much as I'd lean towards if you're not working, you don't have to tip because you don't have much source of income. I also realized a lot of people love dining and dashing, which I was shocked by. I was just so shocked that people who earn so much money just walk out. Don't you realize this guy is doing this person doing the exact same thing you're doing, just in a different context?
Yeah.
Because everyone's trying to earn their rent.
That's true. A lot of people they just fight to get like the meagerest amount of money removed possible. So most restaurants in India and across the world, they levy a compulsory service charge, and above that, if you want to tip, that's your decision. That's completely up to you.
Okay.
A lot of bars and restaurants also
Okay.
don't have service charge. They mention it specifically that no service charge
Sure.
levied on your bill. And a lot of old school places are like this Airlines Hotel and all the other restaurants. You go there, your server, like the servers over there, they
Yeah.
expect you to tip.
Yeah.
So that's
Wait.
your way of life. That's just like you leave some money in the bill, or you just give your server some money. It's just like different types of restaurants have different types of like tipping system. But the tipping system is inherent to the service industry. I mean, our
Yes.
restaurants
Yeah.
in India, service charge is not like the government issued a ruling that if you don't want to pay service charge, you don't. You just inform the server. We'll remove the service charge off you.
Mhm.
But say
Okay.
you're paying what you have made a bill of say $1,800. The service charge is $180. I mean, you're tipping your server, not the server. The service charge
20
gets divided
bucks?
into the whole restaurant, like the person who's washing
Yeah,
your
yeah.
dishes, the person
Okay,
who's cooking
okay.
the
Right.
food, the manager, the person who's serving you food, the person who's making your drinks. That $180 gets divided into everyone. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
So, I mean, is it really that much of a big deal? You just spent $1,800 on drinks and food. You can't shell out
Yeah,
180
it's
bucks
literally
more.
10%.
And that $180 is included in
Yeah,
that
yeah.
$1,800. I mean,
Okay, okay.
yeah, so a lot of people make a huge issue out of that. They're like, no, remove the service charge. But again, a lot of people that have seen this with people who've been dining out. So, Bombay, as with a lot of old cities, they have like these a group of people who've been dining out since like a long time. They've been dining out in the city since their childhood. Okay, so these group of people, they go to different restaurants, and I've seen this with a lot of these old uncles and old aunties and these families that do big reunions. They ask for they say that remove a service charge, but they leave very handsomely tips in cash. Yeah.
Wow.
So again, it's again a matter of perspective. If you really understand the tipping system, if you really understand the service industry, and a lot of these people who've been dining out since a while, they know that okay, the tips are an important part of the service. That's basically a bread and butter. Like, I mean, I can say
Yeah.
that the amount of money we earn from service charge and tips is way more than my basic salary is.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And that's just how the industry works. Because as a whole, we can't, we don't, you compare, say, Indian Accent, the restaurant in Delhi, the only Indian restaurant to have a Michelin star. Okay, so that restaurant is rated highly in each and every kind of international review. And you have a full course meal at that restaurant, and you compare that to a Michelin star restaurant anywhere else in the world, the amount of money you will be spending is, I think, probably 1/3 or maybe 1/4 of what you'll be spending outside of India.
Wow.
Yeah,
Of course, yeah,
because in India, the people are still not accustomed to spending a lot of money out on food. Like we want world class ingredients, like we want Parma ham, we want Parmesan cheese, we want Iberico ham, we want the best ingredients used in our food, we want truffles and everything. But we wanna spend money like poor buggers.
Of course.
Because that is
Indian
that is the
always.
inherent mentality that most Indians have. That is what we grew up with. Like,
Value for money.
value for money.
Man.
Value for money, being frugal, understanding.
I'm an enthusiast. I need value for
Value
money.
for money, squeezing out the last drop of ghee from that bottle or
Round
something.
it down. Don't round
So
it up.
I like the
Yeah,
term
yeah,
enthusiast because like that's the thing, you're trading research and time for a small saving in money.
Yeah. So because of that, I think that the tipping culture is still not huge. A lot of people come back, and especially this happened after this ruling that happened, I think 1.5 years ago, when the court ruled that you don't necessarily need to pay service charge. You can just ask your service to remove it. A lot of people, they just started coming in, and they're like, okay, we don't want to pay service charge. It is all that group of woke individuals who were like, okay, service charge is a scam. We are not gonna pay service charge because it's a scam.
Hey, he didn't say neoliberal left, man. I said that.
Yeah, you said woke people.
I said that.
Yeah. He didn't say neoliberal left. You said it.
I mean, I really don't understand all those terms. To me, people are either pretentious or they understand stuff.
Yeah.
I would go on the former than the latter,
Yes,
and I will, because I am more of the former than the latter. I can admit that with my own limitations. Yeah. So we're continuing on this. So what would you prefer, service charge or tips?
I mean,
If you could have
comes
either
down
one.
to the same for me. I mean, it's a source of income for me. It's the same thing. It's just service charge is something that is automatically added to the bill.
Spread.
Tip is something that you leave of your own will. Service charge is 10%. It's added on the bill, and like otherwise you'll if you do it's also is like a saving risk for both the parties, like the guest and the server, because a lot of people want to leave tips, but then even when I remember this experience from my childhood when we used to go out to dine in, I remember it was very awkward for me or for my family, to leave money in the bill book for the server to pick up, because it for a lot of people it feels demeaning that we are leaving money, and all that Amitabh Bachchan dialogue, hum फेंका हुआ पैसा नहीं उठाते and all that. I know that a lot of people think that you just shouldn't leave money like that. You either give it to somebody in their hand, or just pay them through the regular means. So that's why including service charge in a bill, I think it's a safe bet for both the parties.
I didn't think of it like that. That completely removes the stigma behind leaving money and
Exactly,
just walking
it's
off
to
and
remove the
closing
stigma.
it.
Exactly, it's to remove the stigma, because people don't have to think like, okay, how do I leave that? How does this work? Should I give the money to him, or a lot of people they're afraid to do it. So it just takes your mind off of that
I
one
completely
thing.
understand.
Yeah, as a person who's agonized over social interactions, I totally understand. It's like, fuck it. I mean, hopefully, if they're coming to visit you, they are quite lubricated enough to not worry about the social interaction at that point. But yeah,
Hey, that's his job to ensure he's well lubricated
Can
enough.
we stop using the word lubricant? It's weird.
I know. I'm sorry. It just worked into the thing.
So Prantik, I think I know the restaurant you're talking about. It's Koshi's.
Koshi's, yes, exactly.
The second you said server, it clicked in my head. I know exactly
Koshi's,
what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's at the end of Church Street. Yes.
Oh yes, that makes sense. Yeah, Koshi's
I
is
don't know why
actually
we-
it's a quite a good parallel between
Candies and
Yeah.
Koshi's is almost the same kind of food, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's just the server over
So, my
it's just the
problem
server
with-
at Candies doesn't throw filter coffee like a pro.
Ow.
I have no idea. I'm assuming that's something scary. I've not been to Candies.
No, Candies is
but
a
I mean,
pretty power place. It's fine.
Yeah, he's saying
Okay,
he's saying
cool.
Koshi's that guy throws it like a pro.
I mean, not like
Yes,
the pro.
yes.
I have seen people throw it better, but
pro.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh. So my problem with thin crust pizzas is, and maybe you can give me some insight on this, their price is same as a deep dish pizza.
Okay.
So, like in my head, I'm thinking this pizza is 1/4 the size of that thick pizza. Why am I paying 400 rupees for it?
Yeah, but dough is not expensive.
Dude, dough doesn't cost jack shit to make.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what really pissed me off. If I'm paying, let's say 300, 400 rupees, I don't mind. It's just that, okay, a deep dish pizza, a thick crust pizza cost X amount. If I'm getting a thin crust pizza which takes 1/4 of materials of the deep dish pizza, why am I paying the same amount?
No, the ideal.
That's why
Well, not
ideally-
necessarily the same amount of dough, because what happens with the thin crust pizza is it's a crispy, crunchy base. It's a dense dough. And what happens with the normal, the other whatever deep dish pizza is, they are the same amount of dough. It's just that there is a lot of aeration in it. So they're probably using almost the same
Okay.
amount of dough. It's just the kind of dough they're using. Is that one rises, one is like a bread, one is like a chapati.
Okay.
Same thing.
That makes sense.
Fine. It's the same. Okay. I was clearly from a novice point of view. Like, hey, this is dinner. It should be cheaper.
Oh no, but
Yeah, it's
as a
fine.
per-
It's completely fine. A lot of people think like that.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm part of the safe majority. Okay, I want to run through these questions because we've gone quite off topic.
Yeah.
You've covered most of them. So what was that? How was your daily behavior change and your diet and your media consumption? Considering you're not burning in a restaurant, you're in the AC chill place.
Yeah, we're in an AC
yeah, you also
chill
struggle.
place, chill vibe, everything is there. But then again, you're always active, so your body is used to the
Yes.
hustle. You're always in a hustle, and
Yeah.
especially when you're working in a restaurant, a resto bar, there are n number of things that can go wrong. Like you are prepared for 1,000 things, 2,010 things might go wrong. So that always you cannot have a contingency plan in place, because no matter how many contingency plans you make, there will arise a situation where you don't have a contingency plan for.
Right.
And not everyone is suited to handle every kind of situation. So you need to keep running around, asking people for help, resolving situations, helping around guests from one end to the other, getting food out. There are a lot of things you have to do.
Drinking a lot of glucose water.
Sure, I'll give you that.
No, I thought.
Yeah, sure, I
know
drink
the other
glucose
side does
water
that.
too.
That's why I'm getting the story. Yeah.
Okay, I would imagine.
Yeah. So from that hustle of every day to coming back home like tired and wanting rest, to sitting at home throughout the day and just wishing to be, oh my God, I wish I could be tired. Yeah, that's been quite a journey.
Yeah, I can imagine. That's something that I know has changed a lot of people is their consumption of media and how they're
There
coping
is
with this.
nothing else
So-
to do other than consume media. Like literally nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or sleep.
You can either create
Dude,
media,
I can't
sleep, or
even sleep
consume.
because I'm not tired. My body is not accustomed to sleeping so much. Like in the
man.
first week of lockdown, I slept like a sloth because I'm like, okay, 2.5 years of bartending, all the sleep that I've missed out on, I'm gaining. But then how much will I sleep? I'm not the same person I was in college. I can't sleep so much anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that just hurts hearing that. That just hurts so much.
Like I remember there was a time when I used to wake up in the morning. I'm like, so I used to live in a hostel during college. So I used to wake up on Sundays in the morning and look at the alarm. I'm like, is it really worth going down for breakfast? I can get like 3 more hours of sleep.
God.
Like, screw it, I'm gonna sleep. Then I end up sleeping till lunch. Like, okay, I think I should go for lunch, otherwise I'm gonna have to spend money and get lunch from outside. Like, okay, let's go for lunch. But then yeah, from that time to coming right now, when I'm like, okay, what should I do? Should I just sleep because there is nothing else to do, or should I just get up because I can't sleep and my back's hurting just lying here? So it's been a journey.
That life is really hard.
Yeah.
Man.
So yeah, for me the daily routine is like, if I manage to sleep early at night, then I wake up in the morning. That by morning I mean before 11 o'clock. Anytime
Yeah, that's
between 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock. If by accident the door is open and a dog walks into the room and licks my feet, then I wake up at 8, or I wake up easily.
Yeah.
Or if most of the times I end up sleeping late, wake up by 1:30, which is not a healthy thing to do. So I'm trying to change my habit, because once you get back to
It's
work,
okay.
Yeah.
you
It's
have to
like you
change.
have to switch
Yeah,
back.
I have
That'll
to
be
switch
helpful.
again, and
Yeah.
it's a huge pain.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm
I think
so I'm
you'll
trying
hit-
to sleep a little early, or even if I'm sleeping late, I'm trying to get up early so that the body gets tired at least. So the whole thing is just like waking up, having some breakfast, trying to read something, trying to do some kind of research. But since there is nothing else going on, there is no new research that is going on either. So try not to get into the whole rabbit hole of Instagram and Facebook.
Of course,
So
yeah.
yeah. So after the
That's hard.
first 2 weeks of lockdown, I just most of the time, throughout the day, my phone net is switched off, because I don't want to keep seeing notification about who's making bread now at home, who's making sourdough, who's making pizza, who's being the new master chef at their place, and who's eating.
Why aren't there any bartenders and doing this shit? Just because they don't have alcohol, they can mix. What's the difference between a bartender and a mixologist? Right off the top of my head.
So the mixologist term came about in the 1900s somewhere. Somebody must have coined it. Some newspaper must have used it. There is not a lot of difference actually. It's just that when you think of mixologist, you think of a person who's mixing spirits and mixing flavors and creating like a exquisite drink for you. Okay.
Yes.
And when you think of a bartender, literally the word means tending bar, taking care of people who are coming to your establishment, giving them drinks, helping them have a good time.
Interesting.
I think of Mo Sizlak from The Simpsons.
As in?
The Mo Sizlak from The
Okay,
Simpsons.
sorry,
like,
I
you
have
know.
not watched The Simpsons yet.
Okay.
Oh, you should.
What's
There's an
another
iconic bartender
What's
that-
another famous bartender, Pranav?
Cheers.
Cheers!
The guy from- then cheers.
He
cheers.
was the
Would
next
that work?
person I thought of. Yeah, exactly. It's like,
So yeah, so basically, when you think of bartenders, you think of some person who's wearing maybe a like a waistcoat and polishing glass behind the bar, or doing
Yeah,
something.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
So that's what people think of bartenders. But then actually, it's just like a difference between a cook and a chef.
yeah.
Okay.
It's just
okay.
that
Yeah, okay.
Okay, that's
people
very
think
interesting.
one is more professional than the other. It's just like a parallel term. It's
Makes
what
sense.
okay. So I'm gonna
Okay.
use it in terms of computer engineers. A lot of companies, they give their positions as systems technician or systems lead or systems whatever analyst. But is it any different from a normal computer engineer? It's the same thing.
Yeah,
So it's just a
fancy
term.
title.
It's just like more specific.
Yeah.
But you can call a mixologist a bartender. You can call a bartender a mixologist. It's the
Bartender
same thing.
mixologist. Awesome. That's good to know. Anything else,
Okay.
Pranav?
Yeah, so do you think after this pandemic, yourself, the world, your industry, do you think you'll be able to handle situations like this differently or better or worse? It's an
That
interesting time we're in.
totally depends on honestly depends on the region. How your government has been proactive, because see, as an industry we can do our best, but then food safety regulations need to evolve. The government needs to become more liberal to change, and it's basically people need to be ready to evolve, which is not our industry. Like the people who are coming in, the customers, they need to let go of the stigma that okay, there has been a disease. Should I go out? Should I not go out? It should be totally dependent on the fact that what your whatever the local government is putting out. If everyone is saying that you should go out, you can go out, it's safe to go out and eat, you should. And if people are willing to step out, then it's a good thing for us. If they are not, then again also we understand, because again safety comes first. If there are no people, then who are we serving?
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You can't
Kai, do you?
you can't I am legend this thing.
True.
Yeah.
Do you think this is the beginning of the end or the end of how we know the world? Do you think there's going to be a drastic change after this, or you think?
Well,
How do you
I
think
have
about
been
that?
watching a lot of the end of the world movies,
Amazing, man, amazing.
but I think this is going to be a turning point in the history of the humans, at least the current society.
Interesting.
I mean, maybe we
Yeah.
go back to the way things were, but obviously this is going to be something that people are going to remember. Yeah.
Interesting. Kai, do you want to ask your desert island question?
Am I what question?
Your desert island question.
Oh yes, the desert island
Ah.
question. Right. So yes, you're stuck indoors, so you're basically quarantined. So we analogized it to a desert island scenario. So
Okay.
it's just asking you the kind of media that you'd carry. So one album, one book, favorite food, the favorite dish, obviously favorite drink for you, obviously, or your favorite.
I want to know the favorite drink. I'm quite interested now.
Favorite drink, and this is desert island, so one drink for life, right? So
Or just one ball.
One
like,
drink
it's
for
already
one
made,
moment
it's
for
just
the
in your
rest of
hand.
my life.
no, I mean infinite
Yeah.
refills, but one drink.
Oh,
for
infinite
the-
Infinite
refills.
refills.
Yeah.
Wow, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, then what does he
Damn.
get?
No, yeah.
He'll be dead the first day.
But he can't get other stuff. So it has to be. It'll either be single malt whiskey or gin, or whatever the base is.
Oh wait, no mixing. Give him a cocktail.
No.
please,
He
man. Let him
can
have
get a
his-
cocktail,
Hey,
but
it's
it
my
has to
life,
be.
it's my rules, okay? I'm second the
Okay,
desert
fine.
island.
Okay, sure. Whatever. So whatever drink, right? Sorry, I'm not gonna argue
Okay,
drinks
so
in the mix.
a drink, an
So-
album,
Yeah, and a book.
a book.
And yeah.
Okay, so a drink that I wouldn't mind unlimited refills of would be stout, for sure.
Okay. Wow, beer.
Really?
Beer.
Wow, I was expecting rum and coke or some cocktail. Respect, man. Respect.
See,
just for
listen,
that.
you
Yeah,
said
the bar-
unlimited refills, okay?
Yeah.
Unlimited
Yes,
refills
yes,
for
yes.
stout
man.
any day. I can't drink too many cocktails because I don't do that well with spirits, but I can handle my beer very well. You can ask Saki Pranav.
That's awesome.
I've lived through this, man. I've seen this happen in real life.
So yeah, unlimited refills. If I'm getting, that will be beer for me, stout. Then if there would be an album that I wouldn't mind listening to on repeat, shit man, you should have given me a genre or a playlist. But okay.
Yeah.
No, it's your life. It's your rules.
Yeah, you're right. If you want to make down a playlist thing, but
I already have a playlist, but
oh, nice.
okay. So if it would be an album, something that I don't mind listening to.
Yeah, it can either be because an album is kind of evocative of a particular mood of an artist. I don't want to make it a song because
See,
that's maybe too reductive.
that's really difficult for me because my playlist
Yeah.
is very weird. Like my playlist is basically all the songs on my phone put on shuffle. I think if it should be one album, it would be Meteora by Linkin Park. Because
Oh, nice.
yeah, for me, it carries through a range of emotions. It's just not like one angsty.
it does,
It's
it
not
does.
like hybrid theory where it's just angst. It's it's got a range.
Oh, great.
So, I like that.
Dude, I'm going to have you for another episode where we just talk about beers and Linkin Park.
Oh, for sure.
Dude, seriously,
Literally,
we should,
this is
we
done.
should do it at Pico's or something.
If you're still in the city when this lockdown gets over, Done.
Done.
I know
Equals
which
classic
because we
top
can.
top floor. Done.
You took the words out of my mouth. And like, I'll ask you this in person. I have some interesting questions on this because we can talk about beers all day.
Yeah.
So, any message you want to put out, like to all listeners on all the world and the internet, what would you like to say?
Well, first of all, obviously, stay home, stay safe. But after the lockdown gets over, please go out, have a drink on behalf of everyone and yourself, and just support your local breweries, your local bars, your local restaurants. Just support everything that is local. Just help everyone stay in business. Just spread the love.
Do you want to also mention tip your servers always?
Well, honestly, I'm gonna leave it up to you. If you feel like it, do it. If you don't, well, it's your choice.
Yeah, I think the
Respectable.
I think the breakdown you gave us on the whole nature of service.
Yeah, I
tax
think if
kind of
anyone
leads-
if anyone who is listening to this
Yeah,
episode,
yeah.
I think they should get a pretty clear idea of it. Because see, I turned from being a consumer to a person on the other side, right?
Right.
Like I was obviously going to bars and restaurants when I was in school, when I was in college, and now that I'm on the other side, I know how it feels to be on both sides. So yeah, hopefully my insights should be helpful to some people.
Thank you so much for talking to us. It was very enlightening, and like it's quite a niche industry, honestly, for the everyman to get a view into. Not service industry in general, but the bartending specifically. And it was quite a unique perspective. Thank you, Prantik.